What is going on, everyone? My name is King Caliber, and welcome back to the channel, and I'm super glad to bring you my first Fallout 4 build, the Railroad Agent. Now, hence its name, you probably can already guess what this build is associated with. It's the Railroad. But we're going to get to the build right after the backstory, which is as follows. So the Railroad Agent was raised in New York City in a middle-class family. He wasn't very good in school and eventually dropped out. His parents divorced when he was 13, which put a lot of pressure on him. To get by when he got old enough, he worked part-time as a construction worker. He went to go live on his own and moved to Boston. He met up with a woman and they got married and had a child. Everything was a dream come true for him until October 23rd, 2077, when the Great War had just begun. Him and his family were moved to Vault 111 soon before the bombs fell. The agent had arisen from the vault years later and learned of the fighting going on in what was now the Commonwealth. He joined up with one of the alliances known as the Railroad and fought by their side, saving the synths from the Institute's grasp. So let's get on with the build. Let's get into the light, shall we? So obviously the weapon that this build is going to be using is the Deliverer, which you actually get during the Railroad questline. Actually, the first quest that you do for them, you can get this weapon, which is really, really awesome, because this is basically my favorite pistol in the game. It does tons of damage. This thing is basically overpowered. It's just so awesome. I love the Deliverer. Silenced, unsilenced, it's just an awesome weapon overall. And if you ever get into that sticky situation where you don't... Sorry, I'm a little sick. But if you ever get into that sticky situation where you don't want to waste ammo for your Deliverer, or you just can't really use it, a combat rifle is ideal, because it just takes down enemies so fast and very, very useful in those situations where you just don't want to pull out your Deliverer or don't want to use it. So definitely hotkey both these weapons, a combat rifle and the Deliverer, so you can reach them very easily. Just keep in mind that the combat rifle only appears at higher levels. I've already hotkeyed them. But for the armor, it's very, very simple. This build is very, very armored overall, even though it looks very natural, which I will explain to you what that is. So probably most of you already know what this is. This is the Ballistic Weave upgrade for some clothing pieces. As you can see, guys, I've got the green shirt and combat boots with the Ballistic Weave, because I think it just looks so awesome with this build. You could also use really any clothing that can work with the Ballistic Weave, but laundered loungewear looks really sweet as well, because it's just so natural, and you can armor it very well. I renamed mine, as you can see, so I can find it easier among several other clothing pieces. I've also taken a battered fedora, which also looks really good for this build, as you can see, and I put the Ballistic Weave on it as well. And I just got a pair of sunglasses just to just add that natural look to the build. And I think it has a benefit too. Yeah, it adds 1 perception, which is always good, because perception is one of the main things for this build. So that's basically the weapons and armor overall for this build. Just a very natural looking build. Just look natural, but you're really a trained killer. That's basically what this build is based on. Make sure you have a lot of ammo for your Deliverer too, because I miss with this weapon all the time, and it's just such an extremely fast weapon. I mean, seriously fast. You can even put an upgrade on this weapon to make it even faster, which is just crazy. So just be careful with this weapon. Get lots of ammo for it, because you're going to be probably missing with this weapon a lot. So let's get on with these special stats and everything like that. So basically, the main specials you're going to be using, one of them is perception, since this build is mainly focused on, executions, sneak, agility. Now, if you've known this for my builds for a long time, you know that I just take my character and just turn it into the build I want to put on YouTube. I don't actually create a new character and completely base it off of that build. That'd just be a waste of time. So I'm just telling you what special skills you should have, like up higher than the other ones. The dominant special skills. So perception is definitely a dominant one, because it just increases your weapon accuracy in VATS, which is just awesome, because, if you don't want to waste as much ammo, you can always go into VATS And there's those times that really piss us off where we're always missing in VATS and it's just like wasting our ammo. It's really annoying. And so with perception, you can be a lot more accurate in VATS. So I'd say increase this at the beginning of the game. I'd say increase this to about 6 or 7, probably. Um, Endurance, I wouldn't say it's important, but it increases your sprinting and your health. And this isn't too important because this is for people who like to, charge up to their enemies with melee weapons. So I'd say this is a little important because you're going to be running a lot from place to place. But it's not as important, so I would just say kind of ignore endurance. I'd say put it at 6 or 5. Charisma, definitely increase this one because you're going to be a very charming character. Very charming. You're going to be convincing people a lot. I'd say increase this to 7 or 8 at the beginning of the game. Intelligence, this is not as important, but it is still pretty important. I'd say increase this to 5 at the beginning of the game, 5 or 6. Agility, definitely important because it increases the amount of action points you have in VATS and your ability to sneak. So very, very awesome. Definitely boost this up to 8 at the beginning of the game, 7 or 8, depending on how many points you have. Luck. Luck is pretty important too, I'd say, because it affects the recharge rate of critical hits, and you want those critical hits because, if you're in that situation where, like, you don't have a lot of ammo left or the enemy's really tough and you just want to pack a punch, definitely get your luck up to 5 or 6 at the beginning of the game because it's just so useful in VATS. Strength, I'd say, is one of the least important because, this is mainly focused on carry weight and melee weapons, which you're not really going to be using as much. So I'd say keep strength at like 3 or 4. I know it's embarrassing, but just keep it at a very low level so you can have extra points for your vital special skills. So that is the overall Railroad Agent build. I definitely hope you guys enjoyed this build. If you did, please smash that like button. Definitely subscribe for more Fallout 4 and Destiny content coming in the future. And if you haven't seen it, check out my Elder Scrolls 6 discussion video. Links in the description. I just made it yesterday. I think it went very well. Check that out if you're interested. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.